If you're trying to make money and it feels hard, you're already doing it wrong. Napoleon Hill revealed a mental switch that works while you sleep and almost nobody uses it. Maybe this sounds strange, even provocative, but I need to say it clearly: the harder you try to force money into your life, the more it seems to slip through your fingers. It's not a lack of effort, and it's not a lack of intelligence. The problem almost always lies in the subconscious mind, which was programmed to survive, not to prosper. And as long as that programming doesn't change, no external method can sustain long-term results. Napoleon Hill warned us long ago that wealth doesn't begin in your wallet, it begins in your mind. More specifically, it starts with a burning desire, aligned with a definite purpose, and sustained by faith and conviction. The issue is that almost no one teaches how to access this inner state in a practical way. What you're about to see here isn't about working harder, pulling all-nighters, or relying on luck. It's about entering a calm certainty, where the right action arises naturally, with serenity. If you're tired of empty promises, miracle techniques, or generic advice, take a deep breath. There is a simpler, quieter, and far more powerful way to align your mind, emotions, and behavior. And it begins when you stop chasing money and learn how to create the final state in which money naturally finds you. The next step will completely change how you see this game. Nighttime autosuggestion is that strategic moment when the subconscious becomes more receptive, almost like an unlocked door. As the body slows down and the conscious mind relaxes, everything you repeat with emotion begins to take root. This isn't mysticism, it's how the mind works. Napoleon Hill emphasized this because he knew that before sleep, resistance drops, and faith finds fertile ground to become quiet conviction. In practice, it works like this: before going to bed, you choose a night power phrase aligned with your definite purpose. Something simple, direct, and charged with intention, as if you were speaking to someone who truly believes in you because you do. Repeat this phrase softly or mentally, with calm certainty, without strain. You're not begging, you're affirming. The subconscious understands commands, not requests. One detail almost no one mentions: avoid your phone during this moment. A short digital fast before sleep makes an enormous difference. Replace endless scrolling with 1 minute of inward focus. If you want to reinforce it, write in your awakening journal how you felt when you woke up the next morning. Gradually, you'll start noticing signs, ideas, and even coincidences worth recording in your synchronicity tracker. And that naturally leads us to the next step. A power declaration is the moment you stop thinking "I hope this works" and step into an inner posture of command. It's not about shouting at the mirror or pretending to feel something you don't. It's about aligning words, emotion, and intention into a single point. When a declaration comes from a burning desire, it speaks directly to the subconscious and builds a solid foundation of conviction. A strong declaration always has 3 elements: clarity, presence, and emotion. For example, every day, I move forward with faith, focus, and serenity toward my prosperity. Notice there's no anxiety there, only peace. The mind interprets this as a final state under construction. Repeat this declaration daily, especially after nighttime autosuggestion, and allow calm certainty to do the silent work. To amplify it, combine the declaration with a brief 3060-second visualization. See yourself acting calmly, making simple and effective decisions, without rushing. This isn't about imagining extravagant luxury, it's about feeling safety and direction. Write down any shifts in mood or mental clarity in your awakening journal. These clues show that something internal has already begun to reorganize, preparing the ground for the next stage. Sensory visualization goes beyond seeing images in your head. Here, you teach the subconscious to recognize success as familiar. The more senses involved, the more real the experience becomes to the brain. This isn't fantasy, it's internal training. When you feel, hear, and notice details, the final state begins to form naturally, with serenity. Set aside a brief moment, 30 to 60 seconds right after your power declaration. Imagine a simple scene from your ideal day: handling something calmly, paying for something without worry, receiving a positive message. Notice your posture, your relaxed breathing, the expression on your face. This creates peace and activates faith effortlessly. The brain understands this is possible. Don't force grand images. The secret lies in gentle repetition and calm certainty. If distractions appear, that's fine, smile and return. Over time, you can record which scenes felt most vivid in your awakening journal and even mark coincidences in your synchronicity tracker. These signs show that your mind is already aligning inner and outer reality, leading directly to the next internal adjustment. The 446 breathing technique is a simple shortcut out of anxiety and into a state of peace and presence. Here's how it works. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale slowly for 6. Sounds too basic? That's exactly why it works. This rhythm sends a direct signal to the subconscious that everything is under control, creating serenity and making space for faith to operate without noise. Use this breathing before nighttime autosuggestion or sensory visualization. 3 cycles are enough to slow the body down. As you exhale, imagine tension leaving with the air. Gradually, the mind enters calm certainty, where thinking becomes lighter and future decisions begin to organize themselves naturally. This is where your definite purpose gains clarity. A practical tip: pair the breathing with a verbal anchor, such as calm or trust, repeated mentally during the exhale. This creates rapid conditioning. Track how your sleep and mood respond in your awakening journal. When the body learns to relax on command, the next step, locking in that state with a keyword, becomes almost automatic. A verbal anchor is like an invisible button you install in your own mind. A single word or short phrase that, when repeated, instantly activates the desired emotional state. The subconscious learns through association, so whenever you use this anchor during moments of peace, it begins to reproduce that feeling later, even on chaotic days. Choose something simple and personal, like "it's flowing" or "I trust." Use this anchor together with 446 breathing and your power declaration. Repeat it softly or mentally, with conviction and without rushing. Over time, the word stops being sound and becomes sensation. This is when autosuggestion stops feeling like effort and becomes habit. What's most interesting is noticing when the anchor starts appearing on its own during financial decisions, important conversations, or even before sleep. Write these moments down in your synchronicity tracker or awakening journal. This shows that the final state is being accessed automatically. And when that happens, you're ready to sustain this state as identity, not just as an exercise. The final state isn't about arriving someday, it's about living now from the mindset of someone who already trusts the path. When you access this state, the subconscious stops searching desperately for solutions and begins recognizing opportunities naturally. There is peace, serenity, and a calm certainty that each step is falling into place, without urgency. Imagine how you would behave if you knew, without doubt, that the outcome was inevitable. You'd likely speak more calmly, make simpler decisions, and avoid excess. That's the behavior of the final state. Use sensory visualization to feel this for a few seconds each day. This isn't acting, it's emotional training aligned with your definite purpose. A clear sign that you've entered this state is reduced inner noise, less comparison, less urgency, more quiet faith. Record these moments in your awakening journal as they appear during the day. These notes show that your mind is reorganizing itself to act with precision, the perfect ground for turning intention into small, consistent actions in the next step. Specific gratitude is different from the automatic "I'm grateful for everything." Here, you train the subconscious to recognize real progress. The more specific you are, the more the mind understands that something concrete is happening. This strengthens faith, deepens calm certainty, and anchors the final state into daily life. In practice, Choose 3 small, real things to be grateful for each day. It might be an idea that came up, a productive conversation, or a decision you made with more serenity. Say it out loud or write it in your awakening journal, such as "I'm grateful for the clarity I had today when dealing with money." That emotional detail makes all the difference. Over time, you'll start noticing positive patterns repeating. Record these events in your synchronicity tracker. This isn't coincidence, it's directed focus. Specific gratitude creates peace, reduces anxiety, and prepares your mind to act with precision. And when the mind is stable, the next actions become almost obvious, exactly what we explore next. Micro-actions are the silent bridge between the inner world and external results. It doesn't matter how aligned the subconscious is if the body doesn't move even one small step. The difference here is that these actions don't come from anxiety, but from calm certainty. They're simple, doable, and sustainable, carried out with peace and conviction. A practical example: instead of changing your life, you start by organizing 10 minutes of your day to learn something new. It could be reading 2 pages of Think and Grow Rich, writing financial ideas in your awakening journal, or reviewing expenses without judgment. These micro-actions reinforce the final state because they show the mind that you're moving forward with a definite purpose. Interestingly, when these actions become habits, useful coincidences appear: people, ideas, and opportunities. Write everything down in your synchronicity tracker. This strengthens faith and maintains serenity even while results are still forming. With well-chosen micro-actions, thinking bigger becomes natural, and that's where conscious planning comes in. A 30-day plan isn't a cage, it's a gentle agreement with yourself. It exists to provide direction without rigidity, keeping the subconscious focused on a short, achievable cycle. 30 days are enough to solidify autosuggestion, micro-actions, and build a strong base of faith and conviction without unnecessary pressure. Divide this period into 3 simple pillars: mind, behavior, and tracking. In the mind pillar, nighttime autosuggestion, power declarations, and 3060-second sensory visualization. In behavior, 1 daily micro-action tied to your definite purpose. In tracking, the awakening journal and synchronicity tracker, used without judgment, just observation. The secret is calm consistency. If you miss a day, you don't restart, you simply continue. This posture creates peace, reduces self-sabotage, and strengthens calm certainty. By the end of 30 days, something shifts in how you think and react. And when that happens, protecting this new mental pattern becomes essential, which is exactly the focus of the next step. Mental shielding is what prevents all this internal work from being sabotaged by the external environment. Negative news, other people's opinions, and constant comparison drain subconscious energy without you noticing. Shielding your mind isn't about isolating yourself, it's about consciously choosing what you allow in. This preserves peace, serenity, and the calm certainty you're building. In practice, this starts with simple boundaries. A strategic digital fast, especially at night, protects nighttime autosuggestion and improves sleep quality. Reduce conversations that reinforce scarcity and increase exposure to content that supports faith, conviction, and definite purpose. A good book, like Think and Grow Rich, is worth more than hours of mental noise disguised as information. Another essential point is self-awareness. Whenever you notice automatic doubtful thoughts, use your verbal anchor and return to the final state for a few seconds. Record moments when you successfully reposition yourself in your awakening journal. This shows that your mind is learning to protect itself. With active mental shielding, the process stops being fragile and becomes sustainable, opening space to integrate everything you've built so far. Now that you've walked through each step, take a moment to observe yourself honestly. What has changed in how you see money, effort, and control? Notice that nothing here was about moving faster, it was about aligning the subconscious with a definite purpose, using autosuggestion, sensory visualization, microactions, and faith applied with serenity. Real transformation begins when you decide to sustain this new pattern every day. So let me ask you, which practice will you start tonight? The night power phrase, the 446 breathing, or the simple habit of recording gratitude in your awakening journal? Small choices, made with calm certainty, build big results over time. Never underestimate the power of repeating the simple with conviction. If this content resonated with you, don't let it stop here. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and follow the next videos. They were designed to deepen each of these practices and help you maintain mental peace while building real results.